Hey everybody, you've made it to the Jed Said Therapy channel, where we make your life as easy as we can, using the fewest amount of words as possible. My name is Jed Thorpe, licensed therapist, and if you feel like your relationship is getting further and further apart, you're going to want to watch this video. We're going to address why that's happening, what to do about it, and what makes the whole thing worth it in the first place. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad you're here. Before we continue, push the subscribe button, the like, the follow, the share button. Push all the buttons. It's easy to do and it gets the message out to the whole big wide world that we live in. And isn't it a good message, isn't it? People these days, can really spread apart. It's easy to get distracted in looking at different things other than things that might be the most important. And in this video, the relationship, your committed relationship, your marriage, that's the most important thing. Man, you guys jumped in the Mississippi River together. That's the analogy I use anyway. You jumped in the Mississippi River together and you, with the goal to end up together at the end of your journey, or your river of life journey that you're going on. As time goes on though, couples will get a little distracted. Maybe they'll have kids. Maybe they'll start focusing their time on their kids. Maybe they'll start focusing their time on their education, on their career, on who knows what hobbies. And as we go along, we find ourselves really far apart from our spouse or our committed partner, whatever that might look like. Scary. I've seen people coming into session and this really freaks them out because they're like, hey Jed, I jumped in this river with them. And at this point, it feels like they're swimming the other way. And it freaks me out. I don't know what's going on here. So to stay committed, stay close together, the research has been done. And the number one thing is time. They're like, oh yeah, Jed, I spend time all the time with them. I sleep by them, we watch TV by them, we drive in the car. So we're together. That's not the time that counts though. I'm not gonna even use the word quality time because it's not really quality time. Here's what it is. This has been researched. Aron, I believe, was the psychologist's name. It could be Aaron Arthur. I could have got it backwards. Sometimes I do that. Regardless, he did the testing, the empirical research, qualitative data there way back in the 60s. So he found out that you need a round average of 90 minutes a week. And then on top of that, the type of time you spend with your partner will correlate directly with how bonded you two become because of the time. In other words, if you're doing not exciting or new things together, man, it's just not as bonding. It's not, you're not getting as close as you could if you're doing something exciting, new, adventurous, something you've never done before. So you have to put some time and effort into this idea of spending time with the other person. Other psychologists that you've probably heard of, John Gottman, also has done all the studies. He says not 90 minutes, but 120 minutes. I don't tell people 120 minutes. It feels a little daunting. 120 minutes out of my week? What? So I'll keep it to 90. We'll start there. Baby steps. Other psychologist, Jordan Peterson, he talks about this. He has a whole section of it in one of his books. So, man, there you have it. You're going to drift apart if you don't actively try to stay closer together. People think that just because they jumped in together, that they're tied together and that they'll always be together, which isn't the case. We're all individual floaties. Maybe your floatie's got a duck head on it. Maybe this one over there has a giraffe or a dinosaur. I don't know what your floaties look like, but they're not tied together. So if you want to stay closer to in your relationship, you have to put some effort in to maintaining as close, just to be as close as you can, without being on top of each other. That's enmeshment. Nobody likes that. So, second part of the video, let's talk about why this is even important in the first place. This is good information. So, they've done the studies on this too, and you a lot of times, our culture, for whatever reason, kind of glamorizes single life. Like it's better to be single and not, it's the greatest thing in the world and marriage sucks. I'll never blah, 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 blah. So I imagine when they got those statistics, when they did the research, I don't know who they were talking to, but guess who they weren't talking to? They weren't talking to old couples. They weren't. Here, when the research was done and the studies were done on the old couples, the ones that have been there through the river of life, they've gotten separated a little bit, maybe a lot. they've had kids, but they've endured and they've stayed together. They've worked as hard as they could to stay together. And in the end of their life, there they are, 20 plus years later, maybe 30, 40, or 50, when they interviewed those people, they had a deeper quality of satisfaction, more feeling and sense of peace with their life. They didn't have regrets over here, and it was just an altogether more, how did they frame it? It was a deeper and more fulfilling experience versus the older people who did not jump in this river. Isn't that wild? Just good information, stuff that you probably don't hear on a lot of other channels. Right. All right, and that's the Jet Set for today. I hope you like it. I'm glad you were here and stayed the whole time. There's a lot of good information on the website. Check that out, www.meaningtolive.com. And until next time, awareness up.